Hello everybody and welcome to another Warhipster Reviews video, and today, yes, it's very exciting. We have the Leagues of Votann army set. Look at that bad boy. Isn't that cool? My goodness me. There it is. You've seen it previewed. This is one of the most exciting things to happen in 40k since sliced bread? Yes, the Leagues of Votann army set has been sent to me early by Games Workshop to review and build up and paint for all of you, and I've got some absolutely fantastic painting tutorials coming out for you, as well as today's video where we're going to be covering a number of different things. I am super pumped up for the Leagues of Votann. Seriously, this box is just flipping awesome. It's here! The range is definitely unique, and it has this very clear-cut distinctive design philosophy that is just, it's almost Age of Sigmar-esque. It's unlike anything really that we've seen in 40k to this point. It's just got this very clear design philosophy that is different, unique, exciting, awesome, sexy. It's very, very exciting because we haven't had a brand new faction including book, models, rules, background, factions, sub-factions, all of that stuff. We haven't had a new one of those in a very, 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 very long time, for 40k at least. Before we go any further though, there are two things we need to address. Number one, these are the Leagues of Votann. They are not the squats, so we are not going to be referring to them as that around here or on the channel, because they are the Leagues of Votann, not the squats. 2. People who leak codex rules are the absolute worst. Yes, the book was leaked, but not in its entirety. It was just the match play rules. Once again, the competitive gang has, I don't want to say ruined Warhammer for everyone else, but it feels really bad. This leak will probably have grand repercussions on the relationship that creators have with Games Workshop and that Games Workshop has with its general customer base. I mean, for good reason, right? Because a number of people have worked extremely hard to make this book, to make this box, to make these models, to come up with this narrative, to come up with these painting schemes, all of it. A number of people have worked exceptionally hard for 2, maybe even 3, possibly 4 years. It's not just a case of they decide to do it in 1 month and then it's done. That's not how these things work. Not only that, the models have been shown off a little bit here, a little bit there, a little smidgen of Leagues of Votann in your Warcom diet for you, and then BAM! The whole thing at once in one magical preview. The best preview that Games Workshop has ever given us, in my opinion. It was so exciting. Everything that was announced there was huge. It looked amazing. It was awesome. I was so pumped for everything after that preview. And then the rules leaked and the online narrative changed. It became about whether or not it's too strong, whether it needs to be nerfed, all the competitive tournament play, all that jazz that lots and lots of Warhammer fans just, spoiler alert, really don't care about. You see, one of the things I like to do is go online and see what people are talking about when it comes to model releases. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get them early. I do now on occasion, but I didn't know I was going to get this box early, and it was really exciting seeing everybody going, oh, what do you think this is going to do? Or I can't wait to hear them explain this. Or where have they been all this time? Like, who are they? Who are the Leagues of Votann? And now when you look it up, it's, well, I don't know. It just feels like the excitement has been replaced with this online social media narrative of competitive play. And, you know, so I want to be super excited about the aesthetic, the background, the color schemes, all of that stuff. This is all brand new information that we've got in here. Let's just be clear. It's all brand new information. That hasn't happened in ages. If you see something get leaked in the future, please do the right thing and notify Games Workshop by emailing them at their customer support email address or any of the other public customer support facing email addresses. That's the same thing I've said twice. I've just said it twice there. It's up to us as a community to crack down on this thing because these leaks are exactly the same thing as spoilers. There are people who I know that share links to leaked Games Workshop products, rules, all this kind of thing, yet will get mad if you spoil something like Rings of Power back at them. It's the same thing. That's all it is. And if you won't do it for me and you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for the players out there who were really excited by the Leagues of Votann because they just loved the way they looked and the way they sounded, but are now worried that they'll be bullied for being whack players or whatever the term is these days in their local Games Workshop or in their local gaming group, because those people might feel so ostracized or be so worried about it that they now don't buy this box, and as a consequence they miss out on hours and hours and hours of enjoyment of building, painting, reading, doing all that good stuff with the Leagues of Votann. Please report the leaks. I mean, hell, it's happened to me with Dark Angels. I used to love my Dark Angels army, and then I took it to an event. I played 5 games, and all 5 of my opponents made the same Dark Angels jokes every single time. And it was at that point that I just decided I wasn't going to take them anymore. It happened to me previously to that when I had a little Tau army at the beginning of 8th edition. People were very upset with Tau at the end of 7th edition, and I got called a lot of names. They were all jokes, but it meant that I didn't want to take my Tau anywhere. I might be a sensitive soul, but Games Workshop and Warhammer and wargaming in general tends to attract sensitive souls. So with all of that out of the way, it is now time, ladies and gentlemen, to fasten your seatbelts, strap on your void armor, grow out your beards, and we're going to review the Leagues of Votann army set. So, the Leagues of Votann army box. Few races in the galaxy are as redoubtable, courageous or determined as the kin who make up the Leagues of Votann, and this box gets you started on your journey to becoming the greatest of the Carls. Contained within are 20 Hearthkin warriors, 3 Hearthkin pioneers, Uthar the Destined, who can be built as a regular old Carl, and the Einhir champion. It's the perfect starting point for a brand new faction with 2 units of troops that can be built as a single blob of 20 or 2 10 model units. One interesting fast attack option in the form of the Pioneers, and Uthar the Destined is a named character here, but he is the Carl of the Great Arthurian League, one of the 5 named leagues in the book, but more on that later. The model can be built as an unnamed Carl, which is great if you don't want to do your set as the Great Arthurian League, and you have another character in the Einhir champion. It's a lieutenant-esque equivalent character, say that fast 3 times, who is also available in the set for you to play with. He comes with a couple of weapon options and isn't a named character at all, so you don't have to worry about him fitting into your armies or leagues or whatever. You get the codex with this gorgeous cover, a set of data cards, token sheet for playing the army on the tabletop, and a transfer sheet or 2, which has got some absolutely gorgeous transfers on here. So let's look at what it's like to build the models. So here we have the instructions for Uthar the Destined, or the Carl. So you have your optional build here. So your blue options here build Uthar the Destined, and the Carl are the green options. Now as you look at the instruction manual, you'll see here green, green, and green, and that gives you, well, it only gives you the finished version of Uthar, but there we go. So nice and easy to follow. Just got to bear in mind that you're looking at the right ones as you're going along. Now if we look at the sprue, now here we are. So upon close inspection of the sprue, there aren't that many kind of horrible contact points on outward facing components. So for example here on the cloak, you would kind of sometimes expect to see like kind of connection point like on the outside there, but that's very nice that it's not. Same here on this kind of little piece. We've got the connection point on the scabbard itself rather than on the on the cloak, which is just, it's a really nicely laid out sprue. It's very, very nice. The only kind of slight problem here is component 11, as far as I can tell initially, where you've got that bit on the elbow, and you just want to be very careful when you're bringing that off to make sure you smooth that down carefully rather than kind of be too tough on the plastic. We've got a floating contact point just here. It's not very well secured, so that one will just come away, but otherwise there aren't any kind of really tiny components, even when it comes to building the Carl option. Now the Carl option obviously has the axe and or the power fist option, and as you can see, you don't have like a single thumb. That is a thumb and a finger, which just makes the piece that bit bigger, which is always nice to see. So I think based on this, it's time to get building of Uthar the Destined, and we've got our 40mm base here. Ooh. Next up, we have the Einherjar champion. Apologies if I'm butchering any of these names, but here he is on sprue. He looks very, very, very similar to Uthar the Destined, who looks fantastic. And, well, again, upon closer inspection, we don't have too many outward-facing clip-on points. We have a slight kind of area for concentration around this leg, just here on the front. You just want to be careful with that. Just be very, very gentle with your mold line removing. Same there on the, well, I guess that's his bottom. We've got these outside areas of the legs as well, but this leg is fine apart from on top of there, and otherwise I think we're pretty good. The weapons have the upper parts here, which just need to be a little bit careful with smoothing those out, and otherwise there's nothing too egregious. It's a really nicely laid out sprue, this one. It's very, very cool. Very, very nice. We have the option here of the mass hammer or the dark star axe. The dark star axe is more attacks. The mass hammer is a hammer, so hammer time. We do have one very small bit just here. Component number 21, that might be a little bit prone to breakage. This is the kind of horn head that goes on top of this one, on top of this kind of headgear, well, top gear. So you just want to be careful with this one. This one can be avoided though. You don't have to do the horn head, you can just do number 19. It does have a pairing with one of these two. These would be the shield crest or the rampart crest, the weave field crest, I'm assuming, but I don't think it really matters which one you put on there. They're both cool. next up we have the Hearthkin Warriors, and we have 20 of these in the box. I'm going to be building just a couple on camera, and well, it's fairly generic as time goes on. But as you can see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages of Hearthkin Warriors. Now you get a bunch of stuff on here. You have a lot of options, a lot of cool things that you can do with the kit. You can build 2 leaders, or you can build 1 leader and 19 normal guys, so a Thane. You can build stuff with cool equipment. There's a medic somewhere in here. Not sure where. It's here somewhere, I promise. We've got a number of special weapons, and there's just tons and tons and tons of components. You also get a few upgrade things, little kind of things with which to personalize your Hearthkin Warriors, as you can see here, which is really, really nice. There's lots to do, lots and lots of different options, as you can see. You get 2 gun options for everything. You get their bolt weapon and their ion rifle, and you could build them as, you know, pistol and knife wielding Hearthkin, should you choose. They come with 32mm bases, no, 28.5mm bases, or 28mm bases, as they are in the new kind of GW standard, as we have for slightly smaller troops. And you get 3 sprues for each 10. So you have this one here, you have this one here, and you have this one here. Now this one kind of acts as like your component sprue, so we'll look at that one first. You have all of your heads on here, pretty much all of your bear heads, and you have some of your helmeted heads. Now one of the things you need to watch out for when building with these is that you're basically gluing a dome over the top of what is essentially a kind of open space. It's a little bit tricky to get your head around at first, and you're going to want to be very careful with how much glue you put on there, because you don't want to stick it in and then get your thumbprint all over the outside of the smooth helmeted head. It's just something to be aware of. Otherwise, most of our components are quite nicely attached to the sprue. Once again, it's a theme throughout the entire of the Votann kit from this launch box, this army box. The heads, for example, are pretty much all attached at the neck, which is nice. You don't have that clip point on top of the head, which is sometimes a little bit annoying thing that can happen. And the backpacks generally are attached. Where's an example? Yeah, here. Generally attached at the sides rather than on the top. There we go, there's another one for that component there. See, on the sides, which makes clipping them out a little bit easier, and also it makes cleaning them up even easier again. Torsos, similarly to Space Marines, the attachment space is on the side where the arms are going to go over. And the legs, well, occasionally you get a contact point on the trousers, but often when you've got that spare floating leg like this, it's attached at the foot and on the top. So again, nice and easy to clean off. Looking at the other sprues then, it's mostly the same sort of thing, but this is where you'll see the majority of your weapons. So for example, we have the Magna Rail rifle over here, we have the plasma gun over here, and the missile launcher is here somewhere that I can't quite see at this point. I'm certain it's there somewhere. The dome heads, quite a lot of them are on here, and a lot of them are specific to each body. So you quite often get like 2 options in some cases. You get a couple of options to put on. So for example, here on this one, you got your 2 options there. Same here, 2 options there. This is giving you the option of the bear head and the dome. But I think a lot of the kind of bear heads are not specific to specific models, which is nice to see. So, with all that in mind, it is now time to build some Hearthkin Warriors. Finally, we have our Hearthkin Pioneers. Here they are. And as with the Hearthkin, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 pages of instructions. Now these are pretty chunky, as you can tell, because they come on these large oval bases that I can't pick up. There we go. So this kind of size. Can't remember what size is this. It should say somewhere. There we go. 90mm oval bases. Now, upon inspecting the instructions, this is why it's always a good idea to have a look at these first. You can see that they are attached to the base by a little rock, and it comes at the kind of, not expense, but it is attached via the wheel of the back kind of generator. On those rocks, what we can see here is you got a little nubbin on each of them. Now, if we were to look on the sprue for this, as you can see, here it is. There's that little nubbin. Now, we do not want to cut that off when we're building, because otherwise these will be a nightmare to assemble. So just make sure that you don't kind of clip that bit off. That bit is intended to be there. And you can see here that that is where it goes. It glues right in to those things. Now, it's going to be a little bit tricky for them to hold on to the base. So it's just going to be one of those things where when you glue it, be very careful and just hold it for a little while. So it comes with 1, 2, and 3 sprues. And just like we did with the hearth guard, we're just going to break those apart. So we've got 3 separate sprues here with which to play with. Now, when we look at them closely, other than those rocks that we've pointed out, these are a little bit tricky to build. We've got some of those outward facing areas, which is always bound to happen on something of this size, where you've got the kind of clip points that are going to be visible. So you want to be very careful as you're building these. So on these wheels, for example, on the actual body of the scooter as well, facing outwards, here and here, on these areas too. It just happens on vehicles. It's kind of often something that you can't avoid. Now, something to be aware of in the instructions is that you do have the option to build these guys with the turret. And when we look in the Leagues of Votann codex, we can see that a Hearthkin or Hearthkin Pioneers unit, you have the option, just grabbing the page, there we go. You have the option within the book, for every 3 models in this unit, 1 can be equipped with one of the following: high-las rotary cannon or 1 ion beamer. If a model is equipped with any of these weapons, add 1 to its attacks and wounds characteristic. Up to 3 different models that are not equipped with either a high-las rotary cannon or an ion beamer can take each one different option from the following list: roll bar searchlight, multi-wave comms array, or 1 pan-spectral scanner. So you do want to be careful here. You want to make your decisions based on what you want them to take. You cannot build, from the 3 in the box at least, 3 different ones with a high-las rotary cannon and a magna coil auto cannon. Ion beamer, I should say. They all come with the magna coil auto cannon. It's my mistake. So, with that in mind, it is time to put this to one side, and we are going to build up the Hearthkin Pioneers. So with all of the models built, let's look at the leagues and painting them all one by one, just as you can see I've done here for Uthar the Destined. All 5 of the named leagues have got truly wonderful schemes. We have the Great Arthurian League, the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, the Cronus Hegemony, the Ymir Conglomerate, and the Urani Surtur Regulates. The Great Arthurian League are striking in their white and turquoise scheme as shown here. They are one of the original founding leagues of Votann and also one of the largest, counting scores of kindreds in its alliance. They continue to grow as many seek to join the Great Arthurian League, as they are a military, mercantile and industrial powerhouse with few equals. They boast huge flotillas of void ships, are wealthy beyond measure, and are famed throughout the galactic core for bringing prosperity and no short amount of heroes of legend. The Trans-Hyperion Alliance, resplendent in orange and dashes of white, are the furthest travelled of the leagues. Explorers and adventurers all, they strive to grow and secure warp routes and trade partners determined to enrich the Votann themselves. It is in this that they pay respect and honour their ancestors and the Votann. They pursue these goals almost with a religious zeal that many of the other kin view as strange, but the Trans-Hyperion Alliance strive ever further and ever wider to reach their goals. The Cronus Hegemony hail from what is essentially a military superstate. It is said that there is no problem they will not solve with an axe. They are a young league, founded less than a millennium ago when the fane of Corin's kindred achieved self-awareness. This newly ascended Votann exhibited an aggressive drive for knowledge and a demanding appetite for raw materials. The better for Corin's kindred to enhance its physical shell and arm themselves in its defence. Thus the Cronus Hegemony were born, as the most aggressive and boasting some of the largest kin hosts amongst the leagues of Votann. They each must prove their commitment to the league by conquering an allotted quota of enemy worlds in each year cycle. The yellow and black scheme is pretty sharp too. The Ymir Conglomerate are experts in manufacturing and craftsmanship. Their weapons of war are second to none, and their holds and fleets are replete with marvels of technology. They are an elite league, and there are 2 paths to join the conglomerate. One is to prove that the kindred's Brockiers are exceptionally skilled at whatever it is they are skilled at crafting and manufacturing. The more prolific or the higher the quality of gear, the higher the status in the conglomerate. The other is if the kindred's territories are abundant with resources. They are smaller than some of the leagues, but their remarkable technologies and craftsmanship keep them in the fight and leave them as a force to be reckoned with. The Urani Surtur Regulates are stubborn, courageous, hardy. They have a reputation for survival against the odds, and whilst they seem more dour than most of their race, there are none more dependable to have at one's back in the face of peril. They hold a lot of hotly contested territory in the southern reaches of the galactic core. They face down the Samnok Necron dynasty, the raiding fleets of Bog the Freebooter King, and the Nor Star cluster, which hosts a peculiar infestation of Tyranids that exhibit strange nesting behaviour patterns. No one knows why the URSR hold on to such contested territories, in spite of the amount of resources it takes to hold on to these areas of the galactic core. They only believe that the ancestors and the Votann would abandon them if they gave up their holds. This is one of my favourite schemes, as the different shades of green work so well together. Overall, I had an absolute blast painting all 5 of the major leagues of Votann, but that's not all. You can paint them however you wish to. There are rules within the book in order to paint your own individual kin hosts, so go nuts. Don't worry though, we will be having tutorials on all 5 of the leagues, as well as a tutorial for Uthar the Destined. I haven't had a chance to paint up the Einherjar Champion or the Hearthkin Pioneers just yet, but they'll be getting videos as well. I promise. I promise. So as I'm sure you can tell, building the Leagues of Votann is a lot of fun. It's nice and simple to do, and it's really nicely designed sprues. It's not often that every single model in the kit is just really nicely laid out on the sprue. Every so often you do get those little components in 1 or 2 of the models that are just a bit of a nightmare to build and remove and mold line remove, all of that good stuff. However, all of the Leagues of Votann kits that we've had so far are an absolute knockout to build and paint. As I hope you will see in each one of the videos I've made for painting the League's colour schemes, it's actually just a ton of fun and super effective to do them even up to that battle ready standard or Warhipster battle ready standard. But here's the thing, it's not often again that every faction comes out where all of the schemes are an absolute knockout, and the Leagues of Votann, round of applause. Yes, I think every single one of the established League colour schemes are just absolutely fantastic. The colour choices are brilliant. The combinations look amazing. The Cronus Hegemony, black and yellow, doesn't get much better than that. They also represent a bit of a challenge for you more adventurous painters out there. There's lots of kind of like hidden edges in there for adding those little highlights just to really get that colour to pop. For example, on the shoulder, it's really, really nice, but it's not entirely necessary to have to do it. That's what I think is just really, really cool about this range. So at this point, normally in these review videos, we would look at how they work on the tabletop. However, the book is long, there is a lot to cover in it, and the rules have been leaked. So what we're going to do instead is tomorrow, so this video is going live on Saturday morning, so tomorrow will be Sunday. So tomorrow we're going to be doing a live stream here on YouTube, and we're going to be doing a Q&A and Ask Me Anything, anything you want to call it. We're going to be doing that with the Leagues of Votann book. We're also going to be painting up some Leagues of Votann live on stream. So comment below to let me know what you'd like to see painted. Basically your choice is Hearthkin or Hearthkin, because the others need videos and I don't have spares. And we're going to have a generally great time live on stream talking all things Leagues of Votann. Any rules questions you have, any lore questions you might have, we'll be able to answer live in person on YouTube. So with all of that out of the way, the time has come once again to give this box a rating on the Land Raider scale. It will be a thing. Trust me, it will be a thing. Honestly, I wish I could give this box a 10 out of 10. However, we're going to give it a very respectable 9.5 out of 10. Now, a lot of that rating is to do with the excitement of the Leagues of Votann. Oh my god, they're just so cool! But also because those kits are just so nicely laid out. The sprues are really, really well put together. The models take relatively little time. There's not tons of mold lines, and the book is just fantastic. All of the colour schemes involved are just beautifully picked out. They're really, really fun to paint. So I stand by it. 9.5 out of 10. We'll have to wait and see about some of the other kits that we haven't had yet. But as it stands right now, it's possibly the best designed, the most fun, and the coolest faction in Warhammer 40,000. So for now, that is everything on the Leagues of Votann. I will see you all tomorrow. And I'll see you all quite a lot this week, I should imagine, with the painting videos that we have coming out for all of the Leagues of Votann. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing the rest of this stuff and what you guys do at home. If you do pick up the Leagues of Votann, please do tag me in it on Instagram. I'd love to see what you guys do. And if you're feeling super generous, you could like on this video and you could subscribe to the channel and you could comment below telling me what you think and how excited you are for these wonderful pioneers of Dwarden excellence. So, I will see you all next time. Happy wargaming. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you want to support me further like these legends and bosses on the screen before you, you can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster or head to ko-fi.com/warhipster. Alternatively, you can become a YouTube channel member by heading to the channel page and clicking on the join button just here, just like these awesome folks have done. And if you really loved this one and you just want to shoot me some support, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.